Before we start, I will remind you that there are no standard commissions and that unless any limits are imposed by law, brokers can charge whatever they want in fees and commissions. However, as a seller, you have the right to negotiate. If you cannot come to an agreement with an agent or their broker, you can keep interviewing more agents until you arrive at a satisfactory agreement. Remember, you have a lot of agents to choose from. As a seller, there is no magic and exact formula to establish what is the right compensation for your listing agent. As a broker and consumer advocate, I will share with you my personal negotiation guidelines. You might like none, some, or all of them, and you may add whatever you like to them. The choice is yours. As we discussed in a prior video, as a seller, you will have to negotiate and allocate two commissions that are typically included in the price paid by the buyer. The first being the commission to your seller's agent, also known as your listing agent, and the second commission being the one allocated to the buyer's agent. I will be discussing the negotiation and allocation of the buyer's side in a separate video. This video will only focus on compensating your listing agent. Although real estate commissions are typically expressed as a percentage of the purchase price, there is no rule or law requiring that. As a matter of fact, many flat fee brokerages charge an exact amount that does not vary based on sale price. As I explained in a prior video, the real estate industry has trained consumers to accept commissions as a small percentage of price, but that small percentage translates into a large number as the price gets higher. Unfortunately for you, the consumer, in most cases there is no direct relationship between the commission charged to you and the effort of the agent who helped you. So my first guideline is to translate the percentage commission into a dollar amount and decide for yourself if it is acceptable. If you feel it is too high, then you can either negotiate down the percentage or express it as a fixed dollar amount. Let's look at a hypothetical example and assume that you are selling a $1 million house or a $10 million house, and the listing agent is asking 3% in commission. What does the 3% mean, and what can you compare the 3% to? What other profession charges you a percentage? Well, with the exception of attorneys working on contingency for a percentage of a judgment, I cannot think of anybody. You see, if you stop at the small number of 3, 4, 5, or 6%, it means nothing because you have no reference to compare it to. Now, let's convert that 3% into a dollar amount. 3% of 1 million is $30,000, and 3% of 10 millions is $300,000. Now you have a tangible and specific amount to compare and negotiate. When negotiating the commission, keep in mind that it needs to be reasonable. Offering a commission that is so low that it is insulting or insufficient to compensate your agent for the services rendered is unreasonable and counterproductive. Another factor to take into account is the expected time your agent will spend assisting you complete your selling process. This includes research, time required by the marketing plan you agreed to, responding to inquiries, administrative support and tasks, showings, assisting you with offers and counteroffers, and helping you close on the property. For example, let's assume you estimate your agent will have 40 showings at 1 hour each and 80 hours for other tasks. Then your agent would be expected to have invested 120 hours total by the time your sale is closed. Now, it is obvious that if your agent is only going to put a lockbox on your home and place the property in the MLS, then there are some flat fee brokers charging less than $100 for that service. A good real estate agent typically spends thousands of dollars a year in business expenses, including marketing, office expenses, education, gas, and insurance. If the agent has an assistant or staff and rents office space, then the expenses can easily go over $100,000 a year. That being said, if the agent chooses to drive a Rolls-Royce and live in a multi-million-dollar mansion, you have to decide whether commissions should also reflect the lifestyle of your agent. Another expense to consider is any specific advertising that is detailed and agreed to in the marketing plan prepared by your agent. This might include time and expenses for open houses, mailers, magazine, ads, and so on. Let's face it, we all understand the concept of paying a lot more for an experienced and specialized professional. As an example, let's use doctors. We all agree a heart surgeon should earn more than a non-surgeon cardiologist, who should earn more than a family doctor. Some people wonder what justifies some agents charging more than surgeons who save lives and more than attorneys who help their clients fight for their freedom and lives. The answer is simple. The agents can only charge what they can convince you to pay. Failing to ask questions, dig deeper, and negotiate where applicable will always cause you to pay a high price. In the luxury market, customers are used to paying high prices and fees for quality brand name products and services. This category of customers is typically uncomfortable negotiating or paying less for similar products or services because they don't want to come across as cheap or tacky. The wealthy typically choose brands they perceive to be best and gladly pay without negotiating. Agents typically get paid only if and when the transaction closes. If you are a high-risk, unreasonable seller who is not ready to sell now and not ready to price at market level anytime soon, then obviously the agent is wasting his or her time because the chance of you selling is pretty much zero. In this case, any agents working with you deserve the zero commission they will get, but that does not justify them trying to make it up on the next seller by justifying a higher commission because their real estate business is risky. Some agents look at the industry like a casino. That being said, even if you are a serious, reasonable, and ready to sell now type of seller, there is still a chance that you might not sell and the agent might have wasted all this time and money working with you for nothing. Obviously, this is a risk of our business which can be minimized by following certain procedures and guidelines. Again, although our business is risky because we typically only get paid when and if the property sells, there is no justification for outrageous commissions. In an ideal and fair world, maybe listing agents should be billing for expenses and getting paid hourly fees by the sellers for their services, regardless whether the property sells or not.